Hey, I'm Carrie Richardson. I live in Durham, North Carolina. I'm an artist and an engineer, and I have two kiddos. They are 7, that's my daughter, and my son is 5. And they are on, well, my daughter is on Coronication because her school is closed. I wouldn't be surprised if daycare closed soon. And so I decided to put together a series of watercolor tutorials that were kid-friendly to kind of, spice things up a little as my daughter is out of school. So the first thing I wanted to do was share what supplies you need so that as you are getting any final shopping done, or if you want to place an order online, you'll have time to do that. So the first thing you need to do watercolor is watercolor paint. I really like these praying sets. So we have the 8 and the 16. The good and bad of them, they're really easy to use and they have really strong pigment. The bad part is that it's easy to cross-contaminate colors if you don't pay a whole lot of attention. So that's just something to think about. We've been using these, for a long time, and they really like them. So, they work and they have really good colors. They will last you a long time, especially if you take good care of them. Another option, if you want to do something even better, is there's a Jane Davenport and Prima. Both have little cake sets as well in these metal tins. And so they have some pretty colors in it. This is the tropical set. And it actually has enough variety. It doesn't have any black, so sometimes you want to use that to darken colors, but it has some fun basics in here. The classics would be a great choice if this is your first watercolor and you want to do something a little nicer than the praying, but honestly, those are really good student quality. And this has all your basics here, the classics, and so you can actually make any color you need from these, right? With color mixing. And I am a big fan of the Bright palette from Jane Davenport. They're just really fun colors. I use this one a lot, but it's missing orange, which you can make, and it's missing black also, which sometimes is a really handy color to have. So think about that. The good news about the praying ones is that they have all the basics for you. They have, the classic color set is just that, right? It has Roy G. Biv and then black and brown. You don't necessarily need white paint, so don't worry about finding that. You add more water to lighten colors. You can use white, but it's much more common to just lighten the color by diluting it. I'm also a big fan of these Reeves watercolor tubes. Use them on a palette. And so like this is a dish, and then I have one that's just a dinner plate that I set up. And I like them because I can give my kids each their own set. It doesn't take a lot of paint to set up, and then if you mess it up, you can do it again or, put it all away. And I find that these are really intense colors, and so I personally like that, but you can't really go wrong. So to do this, you definitely, whatever one you choose, you can get even the really, really inexpensive watercolor paints are going to be great for this because this is just for fun. Whatever you do though, you definitely need watercolor paint. And you definitely need watercolor paper. It's meant to hold the water that we'll be using. So I buy this on Amazon. It's Strathmore. You want cold press. There's hot press and cold press. I'll explain that probably maybe, but you want cold press. And so I like these because they're little, and so this can be fun for a quick project. And then also this Canson watercolor pad. You just tear all of the pieces off. This can be really awesome. It's really inexpensive too. And there's 30 sheets on this, so you can do a lot of art. I really like this size. 9x12 is great because it's lots of space to work on, but then you can cut it down to an 8x10 if you need to do a standard size. You're gonna need some little jars of some type for your water. These are all, this is a little tiny jelly jar from a hotel. I think this was horseradish. So you'll need jars, you'll need paper towels, not toilet paper because apparently you can't buy any of that anywhere. And then you need brushes. And there are lots of brush options. I'm really digging recently these purple ones I bought on Amazon, and I'll link to all this stuff. But there are more of them, but this is a whole set of brushes and they were really inexpensive. They work really well. But like I also have a Princeton set of their Heritage collection, and I have a bunch of different brushes. You can use whatever you want. I suggest getting a couple of different sizes. I would want to have a liner, a 2, a 4, a 6, and probably a 10 or 12, just to have a lot of variety of sizes. But if you are only going to get one brush, I think I would tell you to get a 6 and make sure it has a really good point on the end. So that would be my suggestion. And those are all the things that you have to have, is paint, hold little things for water, cup can do, whatever, watercolor paper and brushes and paper towels. There are a few things that are nice to have too. Painter's tape. You don't have to have this, but I prefer to tape my paper. And so this is actual artist tape, and this is just normal painter's tape. So if you have this around, it works great. Sometimes it can throw you off to add a color, but I think that it's going to be just fine. And then I like to have some type of marker or fine tip pen. I have way too many pens in life, but this is one of the sets that I have. And so these are double-ended, so there's a thick side and a very skinny side, so that I can, add any details after. And then, yeah, other than that, I think that's it. So I'll let you know the links to it for where you can get this online, and then we'll begin with tutorials soon. I think the first thing we're going to do is a robot. So thank you so much.